Okay guys, before we start, I suggest something. You make a folder in your desktop called Head Exercises course, for example, and then you make in your own program that you like to work with, which can be ZBrush, can be Blender, can be Photoshop even. The idea is that you make a head without any references. Just make a head. Take your time. Just pause this video when I stop talking. I mean, I will never stop talking, but when I start doing the head here, you just pause the video. Make the head. Spend like few hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, make a head and see what your level is. Then save the file in this folder in your desktop as before. And then open a new file and we can start with this course. The idea is to see your level in the beginning and then to see your level at the end, because we will go through just making a head. I will now make a head also without reference, but I will explain a lot of things. So I suggest you don't watch it now. You just see what your level is before, and then you come to this one. So I will do a head. I will do a lot of explanation. And then we will start from skull in the next video. We will start from planes of the skull. We'll do a skull. We'll do I will always tell you the most common mistakes that people make and probably you are making too. We'll go through planes of the skull. Then we'll do a skull. Then over the skull, we can do a planes of the head or a head. We will see. And overall, we will do a lot of exercises, which I suggest you do with me. Just do them with me, but first just do a head without any references by yourself for the beginning. Then one thing I like to clarify: this is not a Blender course. This is a course about shapes, about forms, about anatomy of a human head. It's useful for everybody, even 2D artists. It's not only about 3D artists. It's not only sculpting and something like this, or ZBrush or Blender. No, everything. You can do it in ZBrush, no issues. You can do it in Blender, no issues at all. You can do it in Photoshop even, everything, everywhere. It's not a problem at all. So, let's start. You can do the head, pause the video now, do your head, and then come back. But we start now. This is a ball. I always start with a ball. So, the head, what is very important, if you're using a program like Blender or ZBrush, is to go and your focal length to be around 85, 88, it doesn't matter, 88 millimeters. I write here because it's easier for me. Don't ever do a head modeling, I mean, if your focal length is less than 80. Some professionals are doing even higher than that, 120. But we are doing 88 and we are doing fine. We'll see. So for now, with a big grab brush, which is move brush in ZBrush, in Blender is a grab brush, I will just grab it and make it more flat, and then make this shape, which is kind of a helmet, but more, flat. As you can see, you can use as a reference my head, because it's pretty cool reference, I would say. I have a lot of things, like for example the temporal line. You can see it here. It's very prominent in my case, but as we will see, this temporal line in female especially is absolutely no. I mean, maybe 95% of the time in a female this doesn't exist. You cannot see it. It's there, but it's flat. It's kind of round there. So we have to be careful about those things. But let's continue with our head. So I will make the back part of the skull a little bit bigger, and then I always like to make a neck. So what can be said for the neck, especially from the side view? The neck from the side view should be kind of parallel. So this front part of the neck should be parallel to the back. So if you do the neck like this, or if you do the neck like this, it will not work quite well from the side view. They have to be parallel lines. And also, when we have our jaw in here, as you can see, the neck kind of connects to the middle of the jaw. And the jaw is kind of to the middle of the face. This is the middle of the face from here to here, around that. And this is the jaw. Those are general directions. Of course, if you have a reference, you can always watch the reference, but bear in mind that most references which are from the side view are not exactly completely profile view. They are a little bit side view, but a little bit front. So then your ear will seem to be much backwards than it is. But this is something else. Let's continue here. So here will be the ear, of course, and for the from the forehead here, and then from the forehead we always have this bump here. In the female you have it less pronounced, this bump. It's there, but very slightly. We have to be careful. For the male it's a little bit more pronounced, but it depends on the concept. Then we have inner part, and then we have the nose. The nose is here, and then from the middle, around the middle, between the front part of the nose and the end of the nostrils, we will have our lips. And then the lower lip, and then, of course, now you see that we have a pretty big chin of this guy, but he's a male, so it's fine. Then we'll have, around here, we'll have some eyebrows. The eyes from the side view are looking like triangles, and we have basically here something like ear, and we have our human. So what we have to be careful are a lot of things. So there are a lot of things going on. That's why we will do a lot of exercises, and we will do also feedback on student works that probably have mistakes that you probably have in your own works, which will be, I think, very cool. Now let's continue with our head. So for now I will try to squeeze the front part here. Where is the chin? Where is the mouth? Because the face is going like this. It's kind of going in and connects in front of the mouth, for example. So those, I will flatten those a little bit and we will have them. So many times the big mistake that people are making is to make the top of the head look flat. What I mean by that is this, looking like this. It's not like this. It's always wider in the back and narrow in the front. We will see that in the reference and everywhere. So as you notice, for now I haven't even remeshed or dynameshed here because one of the best beginner mistakes or one of the biggest beginner mistakes is to bump up the resolution too fast. And then when you bump up the resolution, you start doing details. You start doing the mouth, but not the main forms. But you start doing some details on the mouth before you have the main forms, and then you don't have the main forms, and then it looks awkward and odd. That's why I suggest for all of you to just, for example, in Blender, use the default resolution of Remesh, which is around 0.1 in the beginning. Control R and I remesh. In Blender, use it depends on the size of your ball, of course, but for the default ball I would use the lowest resolution, for example, of Dynamesh, for example 30 or something like this. So you see, basically for the first remesh that you will do, you have to have kind of a big squares, visible squares, because otherwise it will be odd. And now what I'm doing is I'm flattening a bit the forehead, because this is a male. And the male has a little bit more aerodynamic forehead here. You know, it's like, because we run faster, you know, I have to. Yes, so when I do that, I always want, as you can see, my forehead is narrower. And you see my head to here, the forehead here is narrower than here. You see, it's going again in. Not so much like here, but also it's going and connecting somewhere here. So we have to be careful about that. But also, the eyes, where should be the eyes? Around the middle of the head, looking from the front are the eyes. But for the male, you can get away with putting them a little bit higher than the middle point. So what I will do is, let me just do this, I will cut the forehead from the rest of the face, and I will do this. So cutting the forehead and the rest of the face, and I will do this. What is this? It's nothing, don't worry about it, but still we have a forehead here above this, and below this will be the face. And here we have separated the chin, this part here, we separate the chin and the muzzle of the mouth. And then I will kind of cut to make the muzzle of the mouth like this. And then this we have to push it in, because those areas here are not existent. We don't want them. So I will push in and smooth. So we have the muzzle of the mouth. We have the nose, although it's not, we don't have it. So from the side view, I will just grab it and move it and just flatten the top part and then move this back because those are the nostrils and I want them back. I don't want the nostrils on one line with the middle of the nose. What I mean by that is always, let me show you what I mean. Always do this. This has to be around. Many people are mistakenly making it the nostril and the middle and the other nostril like one straight line, and there are people like that, but this is very, very rare. Most of the time it's like this. So be careful about that. We have to make it like this, basically. So the nostrils are going in the face here. You see? This is the nose. The nostril is here and the other one is here. The holes are around here. And here we have a big area of emptiness. But whatever, this doesn't matter for now. Now, let's continue. We have a nose, we have a muzzle of the mouth, and the mouth also is from the bottom, if you look at it, it's like round, like an arch. It's not flat on the face, like flat, it's not. It's like an arch. So we have to try to do this. The jaw, I think I can push it a little bit because I don't want it to be that fat in here. Also, the chin, I will make it a bit flatter. This part of the chin flat, and then this parts of the chin. Basically, what I want to achieve from the front view is, let me show you, is this flat line, not like this, flat line, a little bit, flat line which is a little bit pointing down. Although if you look at my face, it's basically flat line here, then jaw, and then chin. This is what I'm trying to achieve. So jaw and chin, flat chin. Then here we will have some eyebrows, some eyes, the nose, and the mouth will be around this area with M shape. And we will talk about this M shape of the mouth a lot because it's important. And yeah, the mouth, very important. Don't make it too wide. For example, if your eyes are here and the middle of the eyes going down a line will be the corners of the mouth. But this, of course, are common things. Here are the ears, for example, and our neck. By the way, the neck is pretty important, and also the traps in the back, because you see, when we do it like this, if we leave it like this, just a neck and a little bit of traps, it's not good. But if we make a big traps like here, it will be better, I'm sure. So let's continue. I don't know how long this should be, this video should be, but I'm trying to explain a lot of things at the same time. I'm sure that many of those things you will not quite get in the beginning. If you watch this video a couple of times, of course, it will get a bit more clear, but don't bother. I mean, yes, bother. Watch it a lot of times, it's fine. But the idea here is that I will talk about all those things again in the other videos. So don't worry about too much if you don't get something. So now, what I like to do here is, let me show you a trick. So from the nose eye part here, I will do a line down and I will smooth it here because in this area there are some muscles and some fats. So it shouldn't be that kind of in so much. It should be a little bit. And then here we will have our chewing muscle, which is the masseter, I think it's called. And this will make the basic jawline from the front. This. And then the back here, behind the jaw, where the ear will start, will go a little bit in. However, it's strange, but it's going like you have the cheekbone, and this part is going a little bit inside, like this. And now I will make the ears. That's why you never see, if you look at the person absolutely from the front view, you can never see the beginnings of the ears. The beginnings, they are hidden behind this curvature here a little bit. But don't make it too big because it will be bad. Make it a little bit. So I made the mask, inverted the mask, and now I'm making the ear. And this will be our amazing ear. So I will clear the mask, and now I will just, the ear, I like it to be, let me show you what I like the ear to be in the beginning. The ear, I like it to be just this shape. Just a shape which is outside of our head, connecting with the head. But then the head is a little bit, going outward and then in. And then the shape is like this. And here we will have something, but we don't care about it that much. Now, we have the ear, basic shape. We will fix it later, because the ear is important. And I will increase the size of the neck, because we want a little bit more muscular guy. It's not the most muscular ever, but also what I always do here, when I like to make the shape of the neck, is to make the sternocleidomastoid muscle, which is my favorite muscle in the human body. This is the sternocleidomastoid. It's this muscle that's coming out from behind the ear. Let me show it to you around here. So this muscle is connected around here on the skull, behind the ear, and it's going down like this. And this shape here is all this muscle, and it's kind of making a little bit of detour here, and it's connecting to the clavicle in the front. The clavicle is this two bones in here. Very important, by the way, landmark, bony landmark. The clavicle here, and in the middle, it's connected to the sternum. The sternum is this bone in here, which your ribs connect to, the sternum. And the clavicle is above it. Two bones that are moving. You can move them. Okay, so the clavicle is this, the sternum is this front bone. So sternum, sterno, cleido, clavicle, sternocleidomastoid, because this here where it connects on the back is a mastoid process of the something. Yeah, I'm not super good with names, but still, sternocleidomastoid muscle, very important muscle. From the front view, how the neck looks most of the time is just a straight line. Just a straight line from the jaw down. Yeah, many people are making strange things with the neck, and for example, they are making it look like this because of the sternocleidomastoid, of course, and then they're making a big dump in here, big they're digging here, which is not correct. You shouldn't do that, because they're connecting the sternocleidomastoid, they're connecting it only in the middle here. To the sternum, but it's also connected to the clavicle, which makes this a little bit like this. But we will see that on the reference later. Now, you can notice that even now I still have very, very low resolution. Why? Because I told you, I've seen professionals that are using higher resolution from the beginning, but they're professionals. They know what they're doing. Even I always start from very, very low resolution, because this way it will kind of make it so I don't make too much detail, and that's good, because detail now we don't need. We need main shapes, and that's my main purpose in this course, to teach you the main shapes, to make sure you can make a basic human head. So for the nose, let's basically do this. The nose from the side view should have a flat line here, a little bit of line in here, which is the thickness of the front part of the nose, of course. Then in the back we will have the nostrils, but overall it will start like this, almost a parallel line to this one, and this will be our nose in here. And then here we will start to have our eye. And the eyeball, you will notice it's pretty small. It's kind of the size of the front part of the nose, even smaller. So be careful with the eyeball. It's very, 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 very important. Many people, and most of the time, are making the eyeball too big. And of course, that's making their sculpts bad, pretty bad. So, what do we have here? Okay, let me show you how the nose, base nose shape will look from here. From here, it will look like this. So, the front part is flat. Then we have this, of course, and then we will have kind of this triangular shape. You see? like this, and this is the front shape. And then of course here on the top we'll have this, which will be in shadow most of the time, and then we'll have the upper portion of the eye socket, then the bottom of the eye socket, then here we'll have some mouth like this, the bottom of the mouth, and then the lip, the bottom lip, the upper lip. Here we'll have some eyes. I'm just drawing for fun because I like it. I was a 2D artist before, by the way, if you haven't noticed, and that's why I like to draw, but whatever. Okay, as you notice, I haven't bumped the resolution yet, and I will not. Now, I will make the bumps for the eyes themselves. So, where to put those bumps? It doesn't matter too much. You put them somewhere, and then we can move it easily without having an eyeball yet. We don't need an eyeball yet. Then, I will flatten a little bit the forehead because I think from the 3/4 view, this forehead is too big, especially for a male. So, we'll have to push it back a little bit to make it more aerodynamic, as I said. And also we can flatten the sides, because here the sides are pretty flat. And then here we have this kind of a round shape. So let's make this work a little bit. Making the flat sides, and then making a little bit of a curve line inward. And then here, what I like to do is push above the eyebrows to make this brow line. And see, now it's looking better because it was flat, and it's never flat in here. It's like a bump, and then it's going in, and then here we have this kind of a, you can cut it around this area, and then you have this a little bit more pronounced. So that's why I will cut it in this area like this. And then yeah, you have to watch also my face and what gestures I'm doing, because yeah, it's I'm showing on myself, because it's pretty important to see. Of course, we are not using reference right now, as I can say, as I said, but you can use me as a reference. Then we'll have a whole reference sheet to use. Now I think we are ready to go up a little bit, so I will increase the resolution a little bit more than double. And now we can smooth. In Blender, you have to be very careful how you smooth, because the smooth brush in Blender is very sensitive. If you push it a little bit more, it will smooth the whole thing very, very easily, which we don't want to do. Now, I will do a little bit of a nostril here. So I will push in to make the nostril. Then with the move brush, I will go a little bit, pull this, which is the side of the nostril. And then the front part here is a little bit too stylized. I will just flatten those areas, and we will see. I will smooth this, and then the top part of the nose, I want it to be thin, but when it comes to the bottom here, it could get thicker as this. So here, then this is very thin, and then here it's going a little bit thicker like this. And then we have our nostrils. But be very, very careful. This meat in this area here has to be here. You don't push this. So you don't do this. So beginners always do this. Push this a lot. And this is a nose. It's not good. Just leave it like this. Leave this meat there. And I can even push a little bit and add more meat, because we have something like a fat pad in there, but we will talk about it other time. Now, you see, I have a muzzle of the mouth. I have this kind of a curvature of the nose from the front. Here, this curvature in the base of the nose. I have my inflation of the nose in the bottom part, and I don't have my eyes. So, what I will do, I will just add more meat in here, and then on the top and the side, I will just do a little bit of this. And what is this? These are fat pads which are located just on the outer upper rim of the socket of the eye. So it's this basically. And here in the bottom, in the middle part, in the middle between both eyes, it's not that prominent. Even if we have some fat pads there, usually you can touch your bone in here. It's pretty bony. And then here, it's a little bit fat parts. Especially in female, they're more pronounced. In male, not so much, but they're still present. We have to be careful. Then we can make the upper eyelid. And I always like to push it a little bit more up, closer to the eyebrow. Because for the male, this looks more heroic. When the eyes, you see, my eyes and my eyebrows, they are very, very close together. If I do this, then they're not close together, you know. But if I do this, a little bit more manly look, they're close together. That's why I like to put them a little bit close together. Okay. This is the bottom of the eye socket, but we will look at that in the skull video, of course. And let me show you the skull landmarks. So we have the top part of the cheekbone, we have the front of the cheekbone here, but they are covered with fat mostly. Although in many cases you can touch your cheekbone here, but it's a little bit in. It's not like here, for example, it's complete bone. Also here in the bottom, in the middle of the nose, it's completely bone. Here the cheek is always covered with a little bit of fat, a little bit of... There are not so many muscles going over the cheekbone, but fat there is. Now, the ears. Very importantly, we have to make the ears look good. Many people are neglecting their ears, and they are thinking, okay, I will do head studies. I will flatten this a little bit. I will do head studies, but not make the ears because they are not important. But for a head, not only the face is important. The ears are very important, and I will do them even before the mouth. It's pretty important. So, that's why I will do this. Now, what I'd always do when I start doing the ears is to push this area a lot, because this is exactly where your ear canal is going. It's very deep. So I push it, then I make the so-called, let me show you what I mean. I make the so-called question mark, because it's like question mark, this. And then I make inside, I will make this Y shape. So the question is Y. That's how I call it. And the question mark is going even inside like this, inside this hole. So it's going not only in this area is going like this, but from the front view, it will go like something like this from the front view, and it's going inside. But you will see. So it will, and that's the difficult part, because we have to make it. We don't have enough geometry, but even if we have enough geometry, it's also not so easy to make very fast. So that's why we have to take our time, and we will have this little bump in here. Of course, it's always good to use references, but I'm explaining to you what you will see in those references. You most likely will see the upper part of the upper corner of the ear, which is like a question mark, and then you will see this a little Y shape inside, and then this Y shape is going to be just the corner of this part, of the bottom part here of the ear, this part here. The Y shape is going there. It's a little complex shape, yes. Many people take a long time to learn how to do ears, but it's very important for you to learn how to do them, because without ears, people are looking very odd. And with bad ears, this is one place that, you know, when people are looking at your sculpt, and your face is decent, for example, but your ears are not very well done, and this is your weak spot, and they will judge your sculpt by the weakest point. That's why you have to be impeccable in everything. I will increase the resolution just to be able to make the ears. So now when I smooth them, you see it's working kind of great. Okay. Now, by the way, I have to say, if you don't know how to sculpt in Blender, for example, or in ZBrush, I have courses about that. I also have, in my YouTube channel, Speedchar, I have videos how to start sculpting in Blender just in half an hour or so, or 1 hour, I'm not sure, but it's kind of short. You can start very quickly. There are people who said that this video helped them a lot. So you can check it out too, if you want. And as I said, the question mark shape is going in like this. The other shape, the Y shape, is going like this, and then here it's going to this. And then around here will be the whole of our ear, I think. But it doesn't matter that much. Mostly, we will look at our ear from the front. That's why we have to make it look good from the front. And also the ear. Many cases are where the ear comes out to be here, and it's not correct. From the front, the ear, the beginning of the ear has to go with the bottom of the nose. And then the ear begins, and then it finishes around the eyebrow area, a little bit below that. So, yeah. But that's our basic principles that you have to know, and when you know them, and when you practice them enough, I don't expect you to learn from 2 heads. You have to make hundreds of heads in order to become better, to practice all those principles, because every time in the beginning you will forget some things and your head will become a little bit worse, and then it will be better, then it will be worse and better and worse. It will be a wild ride. But at the end, if you practice enough, you will learn and you will be better. So the goal of this course is to give you a lot of useful information, that then this information you will kind of know, and when you are looking at the concept, you will be able to find this or concept or picture or whatever. You will be able to find this information and you will be able to see it, because I know that in the beginning, if nobody has explained those things to you, you will not be able to even see those things, those forms, those shapes. I will smooth this and then make the bottom eyelid. And the eyes are pretty difficult, but yeah, we will explain them in later videos. For now, I'm just doing it because I don't want this first video to be super big. I'm just gonna explain that for the eyes, you need the shape of the eyes, especially from the bottom and the top. But from the bottom we can see, because from the top the eyebrows are covering. Then from the bottom and from the top, they have to look like there is an eyeball inside. Of course, I will not put an eyeball now, but later we might want to put one. Now, let's see this particular thing. You see how this is coming from, this line is coming from here. It's your bottom of the eye socket. And then it lost itself a little bit, and then it comes out a little bit in here and going backwards like this. Of course, those lines are kind of visible somewhere, they are not visible in other persons, so we have to be careful about that. But then what I like to do is, I would like to just add a little bit more fat in here, just from the nostril here, like this, smooth. Then I add this mass, which is here in the corner of the mouth. Very important mass, by the way. And then I will tuck the mouth behind this, or just, the corners of the mouth will come here, and then we'll make this M shape a little bit. You see, now the bottom here, I will make the marionette lines and smooth them a bit, and then I will make just the distance below the lower lip. It's a little bit big. Then I will make the lower lip, and then the upper lip, usually I make it with just the grab brush or the move brush. It depends which software you're on. And then I push between them, and it's starting to work immediately. Of course, this marionette line on the bottom, I will always kind of smooth it, except if it's a very old man. If it's a very old man, the marionette line will stay. Because the skin is kind of sagging and everything. I don't know. But I would like to put even more. And also here even more meat. Then in the middle, I will make this kind of thing, which is over the lower lip, over the upper lip. Then we will do the upper lip, and we are kind of golden. We are tugging the mouth, the lips, the corners of the lips, we are tugging them a little bit in. You see how this is a curve line. It's not flat. And it's looking overall good. So maybe the chin is a little bit too big on our guy. I will move it a bit up. Maybe the upper portion of the face of the skull is a little bit too big, so I will just make it a little bit smaller. It shouldn't be ultra big. And from the side view, we have to always consider that our proportions might not be absolutely correct, and with a big grab brush we can correct them easily. The skull is never a round shape. Sometimes it can be, of course. There are always people who can look strange, but most of the time it will be, especially from the side view, it's like a squarish shape like this. You see, everything is like a squarish, like a flat lines, we may say. You see the jawing here, the ear, yeah, of course you can just make it like this. Yeah, just straight lines here, 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 and here. I think this will be enough for our first video. In the next video we will start doing, with references, the planes of, by the way, here, if we make this, it will be kind of cool. But yeah, a lot of explanations I will do, and I think you will learn a lot in this course. This course will be very, very useful for all people. Yeah, I don't completely like how he looks, probably. I will make the nose a little bit smaller. I will make the nose a little bit more up. He is very sad, so I'll make him a little bit smiling. Overall, yeah, we have something that's relatively fine. Relatively. But make sure you have your neck and a little bit of your traps. Because without it, it will be a floating head. It never looks very good, except if it's amazing head, but most of the time it will not be. My heads are even not amazing. This is the Adam apple because he's a male. This is the inner portion of the sternocleidomastoid muscle, and overall we have it. Although I made a little bit of mistake, I think, but for the male it's not a big problem. I mean, the corners of the eyebrows, yeah, I will push them a little bit back. This for the male is not a big issue. For a female it could be a lot of issues there, but for the male, not a problem at all. I will push this area, you will see why I'm doing this. Here, and we're golden. Silence is golden, golden. Okay, for 40 minutes with a lot of explanations, I think we are good. Make sure you save your second head, and hopefully it will be better than your first one, and I'm sure it is. Although we are not using references, but I'm explaining, so it should be better. Now, in the next video, we will start doing the planes of the skull with explanations and stuff like this. Bye for now.